Good day, mates, to our Australian partners. And before I start, I would like to thank our Australian partners. We couldn't be down here doing this mission without you. I can't think of a better place to train in the Asia Pacific. And I personally want to thank the commanders who worked closely with MRF-D, particularly 1-5. I started out as a lieutenant in 1-5, so as a rifle company platoon commander, so near and dear to my heart. Thank you, commanders and Air Force, Armed Forces, for all the outstanding training that you help provide and facilitate for our folks that just departed here. Our association with the Aussies, our protocol officer actually was an Australian lady. She said, "Sir, you got to pronounce it Aussie, like Oz, that band, Aussie, whatever his name is. Not Aussie, Aussie." So hopefully I pronounced it right today. Thanks to Leah Gouvet, our protocol officer. Most people would say that our mill-to-mill relationship goes back to World War II, over 70 years. I would argue that it actually goes back 100 years almost to World War I, because the bulk of Marine Corps amphibious doctrine was built on the lessons learned by the Anzac forces at Gallipoli. We took almost all of those lessons learned by the Aussies, New Zealand, and the British, and turned those into our doctrine on amphibious operations that was developed in the 20s and 30s, and that we successfully employed through World War II and have ever since. I would also argue that good relations, diplomatic relations between countries start with us in this room. And it's the great military-to-military relationships that we develop that the politicians are like, wow, you know, and I think it energizes the political, strategic level partnership, but it all starts with the mill-to-mill relationship that we develop. And we have shed blood. We all know the Shakespearean quote, "He who has shed blood with me this day will forever be my brother." I don't remember the entire quote, but we have shed blood here. A little known fact about Darwin is that shortly after Pearl Harbor in December of 1941, elements of that same Japanese carrier air group came back through this way, and they attacked Darwin in a similar Pearl Harbor-like fashion in February of 1942. And there were over 188 planes involved in the Japanese attack. And it wasn't just the Australians they attacked. We had a little bit of forewarning and we got most of our fleet out, but the USS Percy was actually hit, and 100 U.S. service members lost their lives right out here in Darwin Harbor as well. So we share that common, we've shared that common enemy, although we're all now friends, we're all getting along now. But we have certainly had a close mill-to-mill connection. I know I was, when I was a company commander, I was able to train with the Australians on an island off the coast of Townsville, and then we got some great liberty in Townsville back in April of 1997. So thank you for the great support, and thank you for the enduring partnership over the decades, going back almost a century now. And particularly special for me, when I was a lieutenant colonel, I was serving in the Pentagon, and this Australian Army colonel showed up to work down in the National Military Command Center. Well, that was a no-go. No foreign national had ever before gotten cleared to work down in the National Military Command Center. Well, now there is one national, or foreign national who has been cleared. It was cleared by the Secretary of Defense himself, and that's none other than General Mick Ryan. And him and I served side by side for almost 2 years in the Pentagon. So imagine my delight when I found out that CG wanted to come down me to come down and be his emissary here for the Marines, celebrating the birthday. That my good friend was the 1st Brigade, or 1 Brigade you call it, 1st Brigade commander. And we've been keeping up on Facebook, so it was good. And last night I was able to spend some time with him up on his penthouse suite there on the 27th floor overlooking Darwin. And wow, I thought, man, I've arrived. Here I am. So there's a lot of pictures up on Facebook that I snapped from up there on the 27th floor, me and my friend General Ryan. And we've stayed in touch, and it's a pleasure. And I look at Mick as I do any of my other Marine brothers and sisters. We're comrades and colleagues in arms, and it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to have known and served by his side in the Pentagon, and to continue that. And with any Marine, those relationships that you develop go on the rest of your lifetime. So here we are celebrating the Marine Corps birthday in Robertson Barracks, Darwin, for really the first time. Actually, the first time was last year when Lieutenant Colonel Matt Puglisi held a small ceremony, but this year we have a cake, we have the formalities, and of course we have our hosts, the guests from Australia here, and next year I anticipate maybe we'll even be able to work in a ball, a Marine Corps ball, in addition to the ceremony. Who knows? But the Australians are able to benefit from seeing we take this seriously. Of all the services in the military, we really take our birthday seriously. And I've celebrated it, and this is my 34th birthday celebration as a Marine, and I've celebrated in some interesting places over the years. 1990, it was just myself and my heavy machine gun platoon and 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, and we were in Saudi Arabia, moving around every single day during Desert Storm, wondering when the politicians were going to make the call for us to go into Kuwait and expel Saddam Hussein's forces from Kuwait. Didn't come till the end of February, but even though we were sitting in the middle of the desert and we literally slept in the sand each and every night, we celebrated the Marine Corps birthday. We had one of our MREs, we had a pound cake, and Creative Marine took some cocoa powder and mixed it real thick with a little bit of water, and it just said HB, happy birthday, representing happy birthday, but we had a celebration. And for us, it was as commemorative and as memorable as this one today or any other one that I've been to. One year, I was the CEO of the Marine Detachment on the USS Kitty Hawk, and similarly, my Marine Detachment Marines, we had our ceremony out in the middle of the high seas somewhere. And exactly 10 years ago today, it was mentioned a little bit in the Commandant's video, we were going through the Battle of Fallujah. And so what we did on the 10th of November, we were actually in street fighting in the town of Fallujah. So the MEF commander decided to hold the birthday celebration until after the combat operations were over. But let me tell you, through the streets of Fallujah that day, as we were conducting combat operations, the Marine Corps hymn was playing over and over again. So those terrorists and thugs that we were trying to kick out of the city of Fallujah, they surely recognized the Marine Corps hymn. And I would imagine, based on how they were introduced to it, it strikes fear and loathing into their hearts every time that they hear it, whereas us, it inspires pride and motivation. And then today here, who knows, this could be my last Marine Corps birthday celebration if I decide to retire next summer. And what a better place to spend it. Forward deployed, halfway around the world, just the typical thing that you would expect Marines to be a part of. And that is some type of deployment, who knows where in the world. And we have folks that are still in Afghanistan, and we remember them today. And in every ceremony, we remember our colleagues and our comrades who have fallen. I certainly have had my share of friends that were killed in combat over the years, and every time, on a Veterans Day or Memorial Day, and many times any given day, they are in my thoughts and prayers as well as their families. So without any further ado, it's an absolute privilege and pleasure to spend this Marine Corps birthday celebration with you all today. To the Marines, thank you for volunteering. Maybe some of you were voluntold, but I'm sure you will find that there are far worse places. In fact, Darwin is a very nice place to serve. And I encourage you, in addition to your duties, that you get out and about and interact with the Aussies and see some of the great sights that are around here in the Darwin area. So thank you for your attendance and remembering our Marine Corps birthday. And thank you for the honor and privilege of making me a part of today's celebration. Semper Fidelis.